From Ron Artest running to attack a fan in the stands to OJ Mayo using drugs that were banned in the league, these are some of the longest suspensions in NBA history, and none of them without good reason. Like the one with Ron Artest. His suspension for 86 games is one of the most significant suspensions in NBA history, and it came after an infamous brawl between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons on November 19, 2004. The brawl, now known as the Malice at the Palace, erupted in the closing seconds of the game, and it all went down when Pistons center Ben Wallace and Pacers forward Ron Artest got into a shoving match of their own. After the initial altercation, Artest lay down on the scorer's table to relax, but a fan threw a drink at him from the stands. The drink hit him directly in the face, and it automatically triggered him to run into the stands to attack the fan. This sparked a massive brawl between the players and fans. Several other Pacers players, including Stephen Jackson and Jermaine O'Neal, also entered the stands to confront fans. The incident was a black eye for the league, and the league office came down hard on the players involved. Artest was suspended for the remainder of the season, which amounted to 73 games in the regular season and 13 in the subsequent playoffs. But he wasn't the only player who got punished. Some of the other players weren't spared either. Jackson was suspended for 30 games, O'Neal for 25 games, and several other players received shorter suspensions. Safe to say, no one on the court went away without suffering the consequences of their actions. The incident also had severe consequences for the Pacers' season. The team was fined $250,000, and the players involved lost a combined $11 million in salary due to their suspensions. The Pacers, who had a strong team that season, struggled in the wake of the incident, and were eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. But that's just one of the incidents that have led to some noteworthy suspensions. For example, Gilbert Arenas' case is actually scary. It actually involved guns and whatnot. In 2009, Arenas and teammate Javaris Crittenton got into a dispute during a team flight. But that reportedly escalated into a heated argument in the locker room before a game. As a joke, Arenas placed 4 unloaded guns in Crittenton's locker with a note that read, "Pick one." The incident came to light after a teammate reported it to the team, and both Arenas and Crittenton were suspended indefinitely by the league. The NBA conducted an investigation into the incident. Just 1 month later, Arenas pleaded guilty to a felony charge of carrying a pistol without a license. In April 2010, the league announced that Arenas would be suspended for the remainder of the season. This meant a total of 50 games without pay. The suspension cost Arenas more than $7 million in salary. The incident was a significant blow to Arenas' career, and he was never the same player after the suspension. He was traded to the Orlando Magic in December of the same year, and his career gradually died out. While it was a huge blow to Arenas, it was really himself who brought it on him. But it did highlight the league's strict policy on guns, which prohibits players from bringing firearms to team facilities or games. The NBA takes the issue of gun violence very seriously. And not just that, the league has implemented several measures to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. One deterrent of this is that players are required to participate in annual training sessions on gun safety. Any player found to be in violation of the league's policy is subject to severe disciplinary action. But there are more ways to get suspended in the NBA, and OJ Mayo is here to demonstrate just that. His suspension in 2016 was a career-ending moment that overshadowed even Ron Artest's role in the infamous Malice at the Palace brawl. Mayo was the number 3 overall pick in the 2008 NBA draft and had enormous potential as a scorer and sharpshooter. In fact, he made the all-rookie team and averaged an impressive 18.5 PPG during his rookie season. But unfortunately, there was something else happening under the covers. Mayo failed to develop his all-around game and was traded twice before the suspension that would ultimately end his career. And in 2016, he admitted to smoking marijuana and abusing painkiller medications, both of which were banned by the NBA. As a result, he was suspended for 2 years, effectively ending his career. Mayo could have been reinstated during the 2019 season, but by that point, he was already 31 years old, which isn't that old by NBA standards, but it's still old enough to not be able to rediscover your all-star form from earlier in the career. Surprisingly, hitting someone gets you a shorter suspension. We've already seen it before, and here's Latrell Sprewell to prove it again. Many players who face serious issues in their career tend to have limited accomplishments. But that wasn't the case with Latrell Sprewell. He was a talented shooting guard who was a multiple-time NBA All-Star. But his legacy is often overshadowed by a notorious incident that led to his lengthy suspension. The incident occurred during a Golden State Warriors practice when Sprewell attacked then-coach PJ Carlesimo. The coach had criticized Sprewell's passing, and the player responded by choking Carlesimo and threatening to kill him. The incident sent shockwaves through the league, and Sprewell was immediately suspended for 10 games. However, public outcry over the incident led the league to extend Sprewell's suspension to the rest of the season, a total of 68 games. The incident effectively ended Sprewell's career with the Warriors, and he was traded to the New York Knicks the following season. While his career was certainly impressive, his legacy will always be tarnished by his suspension. And honestly, the infamous incident with Carlesimo is not just a lesson for Sprewell, but for anyone who dares to place a hand on another person, and it's a good lesson. But moving forward, there's something not quite right about how suspensions are dealt with. For breaking a rule, 2 separate players can get different lengths of suspensions. Like, you know how the longest suspension on this list was awarded to O.J. Mayo? The same offense only got Jodie Meeks a 25-game suspension. In 2018, Meeks was suspended from the Washington Wizards for violating the NBA's anti-doping policy, resulting in him missing 25 games. In comparison to O.J. Mayo, this could also mean a change in policy regarding substance use in the NBA, because there's been a global shift towards legalizing recreational drugs such as marijuana, as well as many others. But it doesn't mean this suspension meant nothing. It was certainly a setback for the shooting guard. However, he was able to continue his career with the Toronto Raptors. Meeks didn't make a significant impact during his time with the Raptors, but he was fortunate enough to be a part of the team's championship win in 2019. Though after his stint with the Raptors, Meeks found himself on the Raptors 905, the team's G League affiliate. While it's not uncommon for NBA players to play in the G League, it's certainly a step down from the highest level of professional basketball. Meeks, however, has continued to play and compete at a high level in the G League, showing that he still has the skills and determination to succeed as a professional basketball player. So there you have it, some of the longest suspensions in NBA history.